Check. I just wanna thank me for doing it when nobody made me, for doing it while nobody pays me. They can call it crazy, but they don't see it daily. And I've been finding ways, don't give a damn if you hating. And secretly waiting to see what I do next. It feels like a huge flex, I reach in my tool chest. Never feel too pressed or depressed, please miss me with any and all negative energy. Ooh.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Opinionated Off Topic. Today I'm with Carlos Mojica, co-host and co-owner of Opinionated Media. We got Meeks, Sebastian Battle, founders, co-owners, Final Few, More Income, which we'll talk about later in the podcast, but long overdue, probably like 3 years overdue. I mean, y'all been there since the beginning, vice versa, and it's cool to finally bring it all together, see where we're all at, and ready to hear y'all's journey. Definitely more interesting stuff because, we obviously talk about stuff, but more of the details of things and the nuances and all that. But without further ado, let Carlos jump it off, as always.
You texted me earlier, you're like, it's finally here, or whatever you said. And I was like, I meant to I text you back indeed, but in my head I was like, it's better this way. Just a lot more has happened, a lot more has been established, and it's sometimes the stuff that you don't want to wait on is better to wait, and I feel like this was one of them. Is your name Meeks or is it?
So my name is DeMarcus. Last name is Meeks. I go by Meeks.
Meeks.
DeMarcus.
The DeMarcus Meeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the DeMarcus Meeks, for sure.
But thank y'all again for taking time out your day, especially you came all the way from Dallas.
Appreciate that, bro.
Happy to be here, guys. Happy to be here.
Appreciate you. But just tell us a bit about yourself. I don't know who wants to go first. And we go way back. Know a little bit about you, but not too much. But whoever wants to go first, just let us know a little bit about yourselves.
You go ahead.
Well, I went to school with you good folks. Always been a Pflugerville native, more or less. Round Rock, a little bit of Austin, you know what I'm saying? But Pflugerville for the most part, play sports, a lot of video games. Growing up, that was kind of what my life focused on. Mm-hmm. Friends outside, back when we were actually outside and not just sit on the phones and the computers and stuff. But yeah, I always grew up in Pflugerville. Went to Windermere with this fool for a brief second. He decided to go the Harmony route. Charter school kid, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Windermere through and through. Went to Pflugerville, played football there, basketball, track, middle school. And then high school, well, I played baseball with you. Yeah, I think that was 6th, 7th grade.
Something like that.
Yeah, on the Pflugerville Summer. Another.
So we were, I think when we first played, no.
It wasn't Mojo.
It wasn't Mojo. It was the Fugitives.
The Fugitives.
The Fugitives.
Hey, that's a fire name.
It was the Fugitives. And they spelled it PF.
Yeah.
The Fugitives. Those jerseys were tough. The Sunday ones with the
button up.
Yeah.
Bro, them joints were clean.
Those were fire.
I probably have mine somewhere in the
I
box.
had my parents. I have mine still.
Your parents?
Yeah.
So met you there. I reconnected with Cam. I remember just one time going over to, I don't remember if I reconnected with you in 8th grade at Key's birthday or if it was, I know one time we went over to the neighborhood at Springbrook and we played like basketball.
Yeah, we definitely did that. Like you said, sports in the street. And then definitely like the most vivid memory is me, you, Key, Sylvia.
Oh, my God.
We pulled an all-nighter at a young age.
Bro.
And we swam and hooped in the same day.
Was John there or no?
Yeah, John was there too.
John was there? That's what I thought. Yeah, we played Search and Destroy
for
all night.
All night. And then we were like, let's go swimming. And then we hooped all in the same day.
Bro, no sleep.
No sleep.
Like just for no reason. Yeah. But that's how we got connected. And then high school, of course, we played football. Mm-hmm. We played baseball. Well, you played football too freshman year, then you went to Stony Point?
So I went to Stony Point 6th grade, I was at Hopewell, which is in Round Rock. 7th grade, I was at Parkcrest. 8th grade, went back to Hopewell. 9th grade was at Stony Point. And then sophomore through senior, I was at Pflugerville.
Okay.
So my freshman year, I was at Stony Point.
And did you play on JV for football or no?
No. I played on JV for baseball.
Oh, okay.
And then for football as a freshman.
Yeah. So, yeah. Play baseball, football with both of you fellas. Pleasure, by the way. Being blessed by greatness. And then, so it's funny because in football, the side that I was on for receiver, was his side for corner. So we would practice against each other like every day.
All the time.
So, you know, steel sharpens steel.
Yeah. It was
Got some fun bouts.
Yeah.
Who's winning the bout?
I think, you know what I'm saying? A little back and forth, you know.
50-50.
A little back and
Hey,
forth.
just turn on that Henderson tape. We both went crazy in that game. Shows the
facts.
resemblance.
First
Facts.
pass was to you.
Facts.
It was on.
Yeah, out
it was
the gate.
on.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
But didn't y'all say that though? Like during the first, you already knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
First
Yeah.
place, you knew you were going deep.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting. I don't want to get too sidetracked. I'm sure
Yeah.
y'all are familiar with the hierarchy of sports over there at Pflugerville. Some things don't make sense. Like, that was supposed to be my toughest matchup, but that was like the only game that they game planned for me up until that point. So they decided my toughest matchup is when they were going to start throwing me the ball. So Pflugerville logic. But anyways, yeah, and then graduated, went to Ranger College for 2 years, 2 years of hell. And bruh, that's a whole nother like podcast episode. I'll tell those stories later. That shit made me a man for real. But went to Ranger for 2 years. I think that's when like we all got reconnected, like got even closer because we would play like Call of Duty all the time.
Oh, yeah. Remastered.
Bro,
Remastered.
yeah.
Remastered.
Yep.
All we played was remastered.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think that was my sophomore year of college. So yeah, I used to just fuck Ranger, bro. I was just staying in the room, just playing with you good fellas. And then, so after that, transferred to UTSA. And then that's when I met someone that just changed my life, just the GOAT, just someone that's just very knowledgeable, very on top of his shit. If you didn't know, I'm talking about this guy. And he taught me everything I know about just the nuances of sneakership that you would never even think about. Like looking at the boxes and knowing what color the shoe is by the color code, like the numbers that start out, like that type of stuff. But yeah, at Foot Locker is where I met him. I don't want to go too far past that because then we kind of have a conjoined journey from there. So let him kind of take the reins from there.
Yep. So my name is DeMarcus. I grew up in El Paso. After I graduated in high school in El Paso, that's when I did move to San Antonio. At San Antonio, while I was going to UTSA, that's when I met Sebastian while working at Foot Locker. Through that relationship, this is when we started building. More Income was the original name of Final Few. We really wanted to start More Income just to kind of give us, how he said, I'm pretty into sneakers, so I wanted kind of an outlet to make some clothes that matches the sneakers that we have and be able to give that to other people that are into the same sneakers but don't always have the clothes. So that's really where Final Few came from, too.
Cool.
Growing up, did you play any sports or anything?
Yeah, so I played basketball growing up. I played a little bit of baseball, but not throughout high school basketball.
What position did you play?
Point guard.
Point guard in baseball?
Yeah, baseball I played third when I was younger, and then I moved to like short.
The boy had that cannon.
Yeah.
Hey, those are those leadership roles.
Facts.
Point guard and shortstop.
You know what I'm saying?
a lot about
How old are you
person.
when you stopped playing baseball?
What was I? 14, 15?
So like right your freshman year basically?
Yeah, I didn't play baseball in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I stopped playing baseball 8th grade.
8th grade?
Yeah, for basketball.
That's how it was for football. I like baseball more than I like football, so I was like, I'm just kind of done playing football. I just went straight
Looking
baseball.
back now, baseball for sure. I mean, granted, I'm like 5'6".
It's okay. I'm right there
There's
with
more
you.
opportunity being 5'6".
I'm right there with you.
Baseball than
Our team was
5'6"
pretty
in
short,
basketball.
I would say.
At Pflugerville?
Yeah. Especially the pitchers.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Steven played shortstop. My pitchers were shorter. Yeah. I can see that.
Jake was catching.
Facts.
Zarate was at third.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Eric was at first.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
they're not very. I mean, y'all
Yeah.
were probably
Outfielders
tallest in
were
the
tall,
outfield.
yeah.
Yeah. You, Patrick,
And Mikey,
and
Mikey.
all 6
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were man.
Yeah, we were
nasty.
good. Yeah, we
We
were
were
good.
nasty. Goddamn Oak Ridge.
We ran into a buzzsaw, bro. We literally ran into Gatorade Player of the Year type of team. And still gave them a run for their money though.
Second.
Yeah, it wasn't sweet. It was not sweet. They had to come earn it. And then if we would have won, we'd have missed out on prom.
I remember
It
y'all
was the
talking
same
about that.
day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was the same day
Yeah,
we'd
because we had to
have-
play. I
yeah.
wouldn't have been. I mean, some of the people were complaining, but I wouldn't have been mad.
No. I don't think anybody would have been mad, really. Like the people that were actually there trying to like win.
Yeah.
I don't think they would have been mad.
I would love to like. You have a chance to go play state championship game. We probably. I don't know if we would have made it, but because we would have played Austin High the next round, I think we would have beat them.
I think if we beat Oak Ridge, we could beat anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean, that would have been the biggest upset since Pflugerville beating Lake Travis. Like no
Facts.
lie, no lie.
That shit was crazy.
Because they ended up losing to like a Dallas team, I think.
Yeah,
They're like Arlington Martin or something, or Dallas something.
which is like more expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if we would have beat them, we would have.
Oh, for sure.
We would have.
We'd have been on the roll. That
Yeah.
would have been all it took.
It was crazy too because we almost lost at Hayes. That was scary.
Oh,
then
yeah.
then Wagner put on that double squeeze.
Oh my god.
Weren't you on second?
I don't know.
Or were you on third? No, you're on. I think you're on third, and then Pena was on second because Pena did that because that was the sign for it, and then he was like, "Fuck it." But yeah, that was crazy.
Hey, that's a ballsy play.
For sure.
That's crazy.
That's how we won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember not getting a hit that series. Or I got like one hit. I was kind of weak.
Was that first pitcher that good? I don't know if you remember it like that.
It was a Hispanic dude, right?
Yeah.
No, it was just
He was dicing all up.
He was crafty. It wasn't like he was like when we faced Lucan was
Lucan.
bro. He was slanging that thing. But that guy was like crafty. He was throwing like sliders away, changeups in, like just stuff you wouldn't be expecting. He kind of kept you on your toes, but. Nah, it's one of those people that if you see him again in a series, like then you pick up on like his patterns. But
Why were y'all able to hit Durbin and not Lucan?
I don't think Durbin was as good. Like he
They threw as hard.
Yeah, he threw. I think he threw harder, but I don't know. Something about Lucan, he got that dog in him. Like he'll make things happen. I feel like Durbin was just.
Do you think
like
it's
more
just like
talented.
size wise? Because like you see Lucan and you see Durbin.
It was intimidating. Like seeing him up on the mound, especially at their place, it felt like he was right on top of you. And then of course he has the aura on him and everything, so then you have to get used to that. And then I think they dominated us like 10-0 or something.
Oh yeah, we got
11-1
smoked.
or something.
We got
So
smoked.
Yeah.
It was just one of those games. But at home, like it's not sweet. You have to come take this.
Yeah,
So,
we got smoked. That was bad.
yeah.
Well, that was like in the first few innings. That was it.
We made up for it though.
Bad facts.
Yeah.
Nah,
I
we
think
still lost.
I think the umpires hold us, if I remember correctly,
When there or here?
at home. Like
Oh.
I don't remember. It has something to do with I think they might have called someone safe or called someone out when they were safe. Like I can't remember the situation, but I remember everybody was mad. I think somebody got like picked off at third or something.
For us?
Yeah, for us. Or we picked somebody off and they called them safe. It was something like that, but it kind of changed the way the game was going. We were definitely. I remember being in the dugout. I think because when I went up to Durbin, he was like still complaining about it or whatever, because he was the catcher. I don't remember, but yeah, they held us. You gotta somebody fact check this.
The only thing I
fact check.
remember is the ground ball to shortstop going over Eric's head. Then next play they bunted and Marcos dropped the ball, and then that was
Oh
kind of
God,
that.
so you
Yeah.
remember the bad stuff. No,
Yeah.
I remember the refs holding us. That's what it was. That's the story I'm sticking to.
Yeah, no. So you'll meet at Foot Locker, and just kind of hit it off from there. And then how long until like y'all working there do y'all just kind of start talking about creating y'all's own clothing brand? Like, have this something like you've always wanted to do? Because I've never really asked you that either. Like, is clothing something you've always wanted to do, or is it just something that y'all just talked about and it just kind of happened? Because like for me, podcast is something I've always wanted to do, but I don't know if that was what he wanted to do. But I talked about it with him, and he was like, "Let's do it." So I don't know if that was like the same situation as y'all or not.
Well, it's interesting because we had a group of friends that talked about it like I want to say 2017-ish, like before I went up to Foot Locker in San Antonio. I remember being at Key's apartment, and it might have been like Jordan, Key, Devin, and I were talking about making a clothing brand, like that would be dope or whatever. But it never materialized, and it never really went past that conversation. And then at Foot Locker, it was interesting because him and I had like a similar path, but in different ways. Like we both got out of Foot Locker around the same time, and it was kind of like on bad terms. And as things started progressing and as we started becoming closer, it just naturally kind of like happened that way. Like he was an assistant manager, so he was like my boss, and a lot of people's bosses, leadership roles. Anyways, and like we kind of just got like disgruntled, and it was at a certain point where we were like what else can we do? Like what would be dope to do? Like what would be, you know, purpose driven? And then the clothing thing came up, and then come to find out that him and some of his homies had similar conversations with their friends saying we should start up like a brand. And at that point, that hadn't materialized either. So it was interesting that the both of us going through a similar path at Foot Locker were already on a similar path, more or less, from already being on the clothing ideas with a group of friends. And I'm not one that's big on coincidences, so that kind of just spoke to being in the right place at the right time, the universe kind of aligning us. Did you want?
That's about it. I think we did talk about it for a while, and then it was just one day I remember we were in the back. They had us putting up some hangers. Me and Bash were just like, yo, let's make the clothes. Like, let's do it. Am I lying, bro? Like, we were in the back unfolding hangers or clipping hangers to each other, and we were just like, yo, I can't do this no more. Let's make this clothing brand, and that's when we started it.
Yeah, it's always like some kind of change that kind of drives that shift when you're struggling with that, and you just know there's more out there for you. You got to, like, you know, put yourself forward and put yourself in position to do that. And y'all started out with the name More Income Way, you know, if you know. But what was what was the purpose behind naming it More Income Way and kind of going in that direction at first? And what was the story behind that?
So a couple things. Final Few came from originally that was kind of like a brainstorm idea that they had. And at the time we were like, you know, that's clean, but we're not going to do that because that's, you know, what y'all had going on. Don't want anybody to feel slighted, that type of stuff. And then he had told me about some designs that they wanted to do, or at least that he pictured with like the Final Four stuff and whatnot. And I just started like brainstorming. I was like, okay, like let me reverse engineer a name from a sign or from a design, because as I'm sure you guys know, coming up with a name is not easy. That's like one of the hardest things you can do, especially when you got to slap your name on it. You know what I mean? Like you have to back it.
Yeah.
Coming up with a name's hard to like encapsulate everything. And so it was honestly like stupid. Like I think I saw like a Monsters Inc. spinoff, and so I was like, am I? I was like, what about More Income? Like,
Okay. Yeah.
I remember I sent it to him. I think he was like, that's cool. Like I'm with it. I sent it to Key, and he was like, yeah, I'm rocking with it. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, let's do that. Plus, it was always like bigger than the clothing was the thing. So being More Income was, I guess, kind of fitting at the time. Mm-hmm. But it's corny now.
Yeah, you hate that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I
We're
do.
at Final Few now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you not like the name More Income either?
I think it's probably a little bit misleading. I think when we created it, we meant for it as more as like an umbrella. But when you hear More Income, you think, oh, it's just money. That's all they want is money.
Yeah.
So I think with Final Few, the way we kind of explain it is that it's for the Final Few, like originators of original ideas of stuff that they want to do. With More Income, you really don't kind of get that. So I feel like that's why the name like Final Few is better than More Income. Whereas like you can kind of consider it still being More Income, as that was the original like umbrella. But how I said it was really an umbrella, and Final Few is the name of the clothing because of the more purposeful name for sure.
That makes sense.
So when y'all changed the name, did you have to go and talk to your homeboys and be like, yo, is this cool?
Yeah, so I definitely did. I mean, he was cool with it, but out of respect, I wanted to make sure, like, hey, if I use this name, like, are you cool with it? And he was like, yeah, bro, no problem. Like, I think it's cool that we actually get to see it still happen, even though that I'm not such a part in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was cool with the idea.
That's dope.
Yeah.
How was the rebranding process from More Income? Because it wasn't like y'all just did More Income and then like 2 weeks, a month later, even a year later. I don't know the exact timeline, but you just weren't like, oh, More Income, nah, that's corny or whatever. Let's go Final Few. You guys have put out, I think I don't know, like 4 or 5 shirts maybe by that time, because you did let's see if I remember. Y'all did the olive green, the gray long sleeve, the tie dye. The first one was the DNA black shirt. Y'all did the 4th of July, and then y'all did the pink one. Is that all of them?
That's
That's all of them.
Yeah. So y'all did all those. You know,
Hey,
I mean?
as he was naming them off, I'm like, shit, half of them ain't, you know what I'm saying? They ain't that bad, low key. The ideas were there for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, you're just starting and getting your foundations, but what was the purpose of, or how hard was it, do you think it was to like kind of rebrand that from More Income into Final Few? And like, what were the steps that y'all took to do that?
I don't think it was all that difficult because, I mean, even fast forward to now, like, let's say we were going to rebrand now. In the grand scheme of things, like, once the culmination hits and once it's, you know, big at the apex, even like a time like now, people wouldn't really remember because you have, let's say we're Nike right now, right? Because Nike rebranded too. Let's say we're Nike right now. No one knows about us up in Alaska or up in Europe or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we were to rebrand now and blow up whatever that is, people still like, yeah, y'all would know. And like the people that have actually purchased and like followed and kept up with it. But in the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't really be that big of a deal. And I think when you're growing a brand, you have to think that large. But to answer your question, I don't think it was all that difficult because we were already in a transitional phase. Because when you're doing clothing, a lot of times you're like, there's kind of like a waiting period where you're cooking up ideas and like trying to bring it all together and that type of deal. So I think we kind of took like a extended layover and chefed up some more ideas, like took a step back, looked at the brand and was like, all right, let's change it this way. And so ultimately, like from a branding point of view, it was really just like time off and then changing the name of the Instagram because we didn't have like a lot of infrastructure then. So even now, like, I'm sure some people locally still remember like More Income, but it's not something that's at the forefront of people's minds at all. So personally, I think the rebrand was pretty good, and we really put like a push to Final Few to where a lot of people don't even remember More Income. Like, even when people, like, obviously y'all know, so y'all bring it up from time to time, but when it's brought up, like, my eyes get wide and I'm like, whoa, like, oh, that was really a thing. Like, that doesn't even feel like it was real anymore.
Yeah.
Facts. I think the whole change from More Income to Final Few, it was pretty seamless because how you said we just took the time off, and once we took the time off, we came back. We wanted to make sure that Final Few had a direction. I think with More Income, we were just putting kind of the brand name on shirts and hoping that would kind of sell.
Yeah.
Whereas when we started Final Few, the first thing that we did was we want to do a collection and we want to have multiple pieces, and with these pieces we want them to have a meaning or something like that. That was something that we wanted to do with More Income that we really didn't like relay the message very well. So when we took the break, we made sure that when we came back with Final Few that we did everything that we set out to do with More Income. So.
Gotcha.
What have been some of the struggles that y'all have had, like even starting the business or dealing with clothing companies, stuff like that?
Shit, bro, what hasn't been the struggle?
There's always something.
There's a lot, bro. There's a lot. I think when you're starting a business, it can seem so easy, like, or a shirt business, I would say. You think that all it is I'm going to go buy 12 shirts and somebody's going to print on them. But then you have to think about, okay, well, if I want a 3-color print on a shirt, that's going to cost different than just a 1-color print. And the price difference isn't $1. Like, the price difference is significant, so that now you're going to have to charge probably $5 more for each shirt. So now you're thinking, do I want to do a nice 3-color shirt, a full-color shirt, or do I want to do this simple design to save money? So stuff like that kind of gets into it. When you're picking your suppliers, definitely make sure that you kind of get your samples. And I would honestly even say get multiple samples from the same supplier, because sometimes the quality is a little bit off. That's one thing that I noticed. What would you say is some difficulties you faced?
Those are definitely difficulties. Coming up with designs is difficult. especially when you want to tie it to meaning, because you have like, first you have to come up with an idea. Then you have to go through this process of like, is the idea even good? And then once you pass that, it's like, okay, now I have to create a design based off this just idea. And then when you're throwing collections into it, you're like, okay, what pieces make sense? Then you got to get in touch with suppliers. Like that whole process, like there's so many points that it could just get messed up. So that's difficult. And then in terms of like, it's a brand, right? So you have to dress it up the correct way. And that's another challenge in and of itself. And then of course, like, okay, are you going to do photography for the products? Well, then you got to figure out what your process is for that. Like, it's just a lot of systems that you have to put together to make sure that you're providing like a consistent product and a consistent look to the brand. So it's all a lot. And then you have to sell it.
Yeah, and this is all important too. Like you said, with the photography, videography, like just not skipping steps, like doing it all right. If you're going to do a rollout with a collection or the designs or the pieces, like making sure it all correlates and you're not just putting out something just to put out and make money, especially if that's not the direction you're going. And something I've noticed off rip, if you guys always have made different pieces. So like you guys made the Letterman, the bomber jacket, obviously the shirts, trying to think what else, shorts, sweats,
Coach jacket,
hats,
trucker hats, regular hats, corduroy hats.
the De La Rue hats. Haha, those are exclusive. But
oh shit. Yeah. Them Arizona joints.
But like
Coach jackets.
Those
yeah.
But yeah, so like I guess kind of what was the mind frame of making these different pieces when, most people are known for their hats. They just make hats. Most people are known for their shirts. They just make shirts or whatever it is. So what kind of made you guys want to dabble into like 6, 7, 8 different types of clothing?
I think it's important as a brand to be able to kind of spread it as far as it could go. Like, and especially with the way Supreme changed everything, like, what is this, a jukebox? Like,
yeah, Kith does that too.
Yeah,
like
like
everything.
Nowadays, brands really take it past clothing and they can really sell you on anything. Like Supreme was selling freaking, I think they were like flamethrowers.
Yeah.
Bro, they could put their name on anything, and I think that's like unbelievably dope that someone will buy literally anything because your name is on it.
Yeah.
But when it comes,
they literally do anything.
Exactly.
Bro, that's
but when it comes to like multiple pieces, I mean, there is an argument to be had that if we just made hats, your attention is only focused on hats, and that's the one thing that you're known for. Like if you look at successful companies, they figure out one thing that they do extremely well, and then they use that. Like Starbucks, coffee. Like Apple kind of changed over the years, but once they figured out iPod, and now they're figuring out iPhone, like once they figured out that part, I guess Apple's not a good example, but like McDonald's, they're known as a burger company, even though they buy real estate. But anyways, that's different. Hey, shout out to, you know what I'm saying?
Bye-bye, Bash.
Shout out to the people trying to buy real estate. Holla at me. But I say that to say, like, when we decided to do that, I think when we were in more income, we became very like printing t-shirt based. And as he stated, like we wanted to get further away from that and show that we really had diversity in what we could make and offer true value for people that are trying to dress in like different pieces. And then it evolved into like, I know one thing I take pride in is like, if you don't have a corduroy hat and you have our corduroy hat, like we checked off a box for you.
That for me, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And hats are different because you can wear hats all the time. But like, say for the Letterman, for instance, you get that one Letterman, you might not need another one, but at least it's ours in your closet, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the approach that I look at it. Did you have any thoughts on?
I think how I said earlier, the whole vision was starting from me wanting stuff to wear with different shoes that I have. From me being kind of into the fashion, I like different pieces. I don't like to just wear a t-shirt with every single fit. So that's why we'll do a jacket, or that's why we'll do, one of the first things we did was like a crew neck sweater. So we'll do different stuff like that, just so you don't always have to wear a t-shirt, because it could be redundant just wearing the same t-shirt every time. So just different items for sure.
All right, OP listeners, listen up. We caught you feeling a little slumped, worrying about that to-do list that you got adding up on your mind. We know with the holidays, it gets really busy. You're struggling maybe to sleep because you're up all night doing other things outside of your work environment. But let us be assured, feel like you could use a reset, get ready to blast off into space with some streamlined groups, Galaxy Treats. Their Delta 8 THC gummies will launch you into a galaxy of productivity and out of this world vibes. I know y'all want to catch a vibe sometimes. They even have different flavors like Mars Mango, Solar Summer, and Starberry. You know, these audio and visual episodes, we don't just come together like magic. We need things like Galaxy Treats so we're able to refocus and explore a whole new galaxy of success and feel good putting this out for y'all. Make sure you guys go check them out at streamlinegroup.com and stop spacing out. Again, check them out at streamlinegroup.com. Now back to the podcast. So talking about like marketing content, oh shit, my bad. I've had conversations with
Ricky.
I know, I'm over here sweating now. I've had conversations with you just talking about, you know, how to market product, how to market, you know, clothing and things like that. Cause I mean, let's be honest. We see all these dudes put clothing brands out and they just have girls wearing their stuff, wearing their hats or whatever. And then they're doing like the videos and stuff with that. But you guys have never really done that. Why do you think that is? I'm just curious. Because it does seem to work for most people who do like clothing and stuff, where they just like model it or whatever. So,
Because the bitches we asked said no.
hey, fuck it. Hey, fuck it. Straight like that. Hey, fuck it. Straight like that.
Y'all getting the uncut, bro.
No, it's fine. Be honest. Be
Nah,
real raw and authentic.
I think we've done, I think we've done it once, but one thing that's like one thing that we're always gonna like commit to is just staying like authentic and whatever's natural. So, naturally, no bitches fuck with us, but it's cool. I'm engaged and a lot.
I get no bitches.
Yeah, so that's cool. No, but I do think that's a good strategy. But like, and I also look at other brands and I'm like, for example, Kith just post shoes or post the clothing. And
That's all they do. Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a model in it. Like, obviously they're at that point, but I mean,
Root does the same thing.
yeah, a lot of companies do it, and it's just like, okay, like, is my stuff not selling because I don't have women in it?
Yeah.
But
You don't
like,
want it to be only because
Yeah.
like that. Because people are going to be like, oh, that girl looks good. I want to buy the shirt, which could help you. But at the same time, when you stop doing that and you transition into just posting the product, people are going to be like, oh, whatever. Because they're used to seeing.
They're looking for the girl.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think it's we don't have a revolving door of girls ready to take pictures. But also, like, I think one thing that we've done successfully, at least like on our Instagram, is keeping like an anonymous look.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that. I don't really need like a lot of faces. And
Do you think that hurts you though, in a way? Because I was telling you, like, when somebody might be like looking at y'all's page and they come there and there's like nothing to like see or any products, so maybe they like don't stay.
Yeah.
But if you had those, maybe they do stay. I don't know, but I'm just saying, do you think that helps or hurts more?
No, for sure. I think there's a lot of opportunity for growth there. And also, I mean, you can do that if you're like Future and it's time to drop an album and now I'm posting, right?
Louis.
But yeah, we're definitely not those people yet. So that is an area of focus for us moving forward, I would think.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, you asked about challenges. That's also another challenge too of a clothing brand is if you're not dropping clothes, what are you posting?
Yeah.
So I don't want to give away too much, but you got to have a solution for everything.
Do y'all like try to drop once a quarter, twice a year? Like, what is y'all's like ideal drop rate?
We were actually just talking about this earlier, but I would say we aim for at least once a quarter. But ideas do come and go. So if we do have ideas more often than once a quarter, we'll drop 5 times in a year, not just 4. But also if we're having block and we can't think of ideas, we don't like to just force stuff out.
Yeah.
So that's when we will take the time, and sometimes you will get 3, but at least you know that the product that you're getting is something that's actually thought out and not just, hey, I want to get a drop out because it's February. You know what I mean? I don't want to miss the drop before April. So stuff like that. So.
Do both of y'all like come up with the designs, or is it more of like one person?
So the way we usually do it is I'll ask him like, hey, do you have any ideas that you want to kind of get out? If he does, then we'll try to go from there, see what we could kind of create from that. If he doesn't, we'll just sit there and throw different ideas back and forth. we'll even throw like, hey, maybe we don't have an idea. Let's try, I want to do a blue shirt. So we'll put something on a blue shirt and figure out, okay, well, with blue, I like lime green, something like that, lime green and black. Okay, cool. What can we think of that's lime green and black? I'm just going to say something, but a lime, you know what I mean? Now I have a blue shirt with the lime on it, you know what I mean? Now how can I make that cool, you know what I mean? It's like stuff like that we try to make it not just me giving the design, but it's more of a collaborative effort than just you design this one and I design that one. It's always both of us are designing together for sure.
How hard is it for y'all to like come up with product or have the time of day when you're in Dallas and you're here?
It can be challenging at times, especially because we're just walking two paths of life. Like when we started, we were together, same journey, same place, like same struggles, like let's get it. Now, I mean, we're in two different markets, two different places. You know, everything we'd have to do is like through phone call, text, FaceTime type of deal. So that can present a little bit of a challenge. I don't even remember the question now, but I think I answered half of it.
It was more like how difficult is it for y'all to be apart and create product basically?
Yeah, no, I missed this guy. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. But also, I think it's not overly difficult as long as we lock in though. Like part of, as I'm sure you guys know, part of just keeping in that flow and having that rhythm is just making sure that it's consistent. Yeah. So if there is times where we have like time off or a dry spell, it's usually from just not having it on the calendar ready to go, understanding what the mission is. But also like with him being a student, he's doing his master's, so that's kind of like downplaying him. He's on.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then me, like when I was transitioning into real estate, that was a different grind in and of itself. And so at times it can be difficult when you're focused on like other life stuff to continue like your passion project, you know?
Yeah, and what's actually gonna pay your bills too.
Yeah.
Until the other one does.
No, for sure,
Yeah.
especially when you need a paycheck.
Yeah.
And it ain't coming just to come. You got to go get it.
Yeah. He was talking about y'all dropping, maybe seasonally or quarterly. Have you guys ever thought about doing like an essentials line where you have maybe each year you come out with like 4 or 5 pieces that are staple pieces? They're good pieces with staple pieces, nothing too crazy. You have them all year. People can get them whenever. And then maybe like just changing that yearly. Ever thought about doing that just to have something selling all the time?
I love that question.
Yeah, that's something that we've talked about before. I think we have to get to a point that we would actually be able to do that. But I think that would be very useful, especially not everybody wants the super graphic tees. But if we do have an essentials line with a basic Final Few or FF or whatever we decide to put on the essential tees, something like that can appeal to more people too. So that's definitely a good idea.
Yeah, what we try to do and what we've done very successfully in the past is finding creative, dope ways to focus around like what's happening in the times. So like when we dropped our first worldwide shirts, it was centered around Earth Day.
Yeah.
So it all went hand in hand, and I think people really appreciated that and like soaked it up.
Yeah.
And it was a good design. It was vibrant, so it kind of all went hand in hand. So an essentials line, I think, would be incredibly dope, especially to like focus on a certain color palette, and also still keeping true to focusing on events that we can capitalize on. Like earlier this year, we dropped like a patchwork, like NBA logo type of Final Few shirt, focused on the beginning of the NBA season. So I think that type of stuff can coincide together. You get your creative kind of artsy ideas, and you get the essentials line that everybody can wear.
Even
and
like
just throw in.
the college tees, like the Texas so far that you made, and then obviously the designs y'all posted but aren't released yet. That's like an essential piece. You can release that all the time. People are gonna be like, it has the vintage look, which is in. People are gonna be like, oh, I want to get that, at any point in time. And this kind of segues into my next question. So like, the vintage look, essential look. Obviously, you guys create your clothing yourselves, but what do you look at for ideas, inspiration? Like, are you guys, vintage is in, let's make vintage stuff, or the baggies in. Let's make baggy stuff. Like, kind of what's the direction there?
I'll let him take this one in a second, but what I will say about that is a big piece of it is like letting it come to you. So whatever speaks to you in the moment, whether that be, I don't know, race cars or maybe you're watching football and you get inspiration from a certain play or situation, or you harken back to something, that kind of stuff like expands your mind and lets you get those ideas going. And creativity is an interesting thing because sometimes you can't force it. But I would say most of the times you can't force it. Like you can dedicate time to tap into that, but for the most part, you kind of got to let it come to you. But what do you think?
Yeah, I think a lot of times I'll look at like trends. So there was a while where I wanted to do like a race car tee, and all that we were seeing is like NASCAR vintage tees and NASCAR like patch stuff. So stuff like that, like the trends definitely has a toll in it. What else? Kind of like the season. So in the fall time, we always want to drop something like fall colors. We don't want to drop like pastels in the fall. So that does have some I guess say in it too. What's in some other way?
Yeah, I think in clothing, it's important that you have to stay on the trends because you have to do what's tried and true, right? Like whatever's in is what you have to focus on to a degree. But also, like he's saying with the seasons, it's also difficult in Texas, you know, while you're still local to a degree, because you can try to drop the most fire winter stuff, but that's a 3-week release, and you got to design. You have to get the idea, design it, produce it, and promo, and you don't know when it's gonna get cold.
Yeah, for
you know what I
real.
mean?
I mean, this shit ain't even really been
At least
cold.
here.
Exactly.
In Dallas,
Yeah.
is it cold in Dallas?
It's a little colder, but it's not cold yet.
No, it's not cold there. Yeah, this weather's been tripping.
Yeah, so that's also another thing. Like, I would love to come out with some puffer jackets. Who here is gonna buy them?
No. Moving the market. Well, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
So if they're not going to buy them here. Like, what are some things y'all are going to do to move that market nationally?
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, how do y'all plan to like outsource it away from, I guess, everybody that y'all do know?
Yeah, like moving it out of Austin.
Moving it out of Austin, even moving out of Texas.
I feel like I'm gonna mess up this answer.
I think it goes into just being consistent with what we do. I won't say that we're the most well-off company, but we are doing good. We've had people from other cities, other states buy merchandise recently. But I will say that we do have to give more of an effort to kind of advertise towards bigger markets. Right now, we kind of advertise more locally.
Yeah.
But if we do advertise, I guess, more nationally, I think that'll help us with not only our target audience being in places that can get stuff like puffer jackets, but it'll also help being able to sell stuff like the shirts that we have right now and the shirts that we're coming out in the future too. So,
Do you have to? Is that like something you just have to pay for, like Instagram ads and whatnot? That how you like would advertise it?
SEO.
Can you like?
Yeah.
Can you pick to like where you want to like advertise? Because I know you can like buy ads and like push them out to like certain demographic, but you can put like, oh, I want to push this puffer jacket ad in New York. You can like, you can do that.
yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool.
I know Facebook has been cracking back on like how apparently when you used to be able to do ads, you can do them so specific that it was, you know, kind of violating privacy laws, which is why they changed them. But I mean, yeah, that essentially works. Like, for example, the like the college shirts. If we didn't sell out, then a plan to get off of, I don't know, an Alabama shirt here is kind of tough. You know what I mean? So you have to push that over to a market that is definitely going to receive it.
Just sold out the Alabama one. Because I know
Final-few.com.
I know that I know you talked about like you wanted to with that shirt you wanted to market
Yeah.
over there. So I don't know if you ended up doing that or not.
I think our quantities are so low that it wouldn't make sense now. If I remember correctly about that one, I think I still have some. And then, yeah.
Sold enough already.
Yeah. And then the UT one sold out because
Yeah, and y'all release it in time. You know, it was all calculated.
How do
Push some
we've
deadlines.
always wondered about how do you not get like copyrighted for like the logo? Is there like can anybody just use it? Like how does that work?
Hey, if Nick Saban would have saw it, we probably would have got copyrighted, bro. Straight like that.
We're not big enough to get copyrighted. So Supreme got like a cease and desist on some of their Louis V stuff. That's a position you want to be in, to be able to get copyrighted or, you know, have something like that happen, because those are now like some of their rarest stuff.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, gold to the hype beast, right?
Yeah.
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 But yeah, we're not big enough to get copyrighted, really.
Because like,
Yeah, 'cause I was about to say,
the Full Send,
Full
like
Send
all
and
their
Nelk,
like
like-
they have like all the Brave stuff and all just other kinds of stuff, and then
But it's like their
Optic,
logo.
that Optic jersey I sent you the other day, like the Seattle one, like how does stuff like that not get?
I mean,
Because both of those people are big enough.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know like the exact rules. But I would just think that if you're doing enough to alter it to where like it's your own logo, then maybe they can't say anything, or maybe
That's what I'm thinking.
them modifying your logo like that is like good for exposure for the
Yeah.
team. But that's not going to stop. People have been doing that since the beginning of
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
A lot of times you could get like a license, and once you have the license, you can use any of the logo that you want as long
Really?
as you have the license for that logo.
Cool. That's
How,
good.
how much of those typically run?
Just-
Kind of depend on the logo.
It depends where you get it from. Like NCAA, I don't think you could get it individual. I think you have to get like the whole NCAA thing. Probably
Okay.
like individual, like NFL teams, like sports teams, you have to go probably through the individual like team. I don't
Okay.
know who, like, the
Yeah,
contract
that's
is,
pretty-
something like that, I'm sure.
That's good to know.
I want to get copyrighted.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would run that into the ground. I
Yeah,
promise.
For sure. So you guys have the meaning "don't be late." Where did that stem from, and why do you guys kind of say that?
I will tell you, like, I could tell you where we were when that happened. Do you remember where we were? Yeah. It was on the couch upstairs at his mom's crib, and that was for our first release, right? Yeah. So we like reverse engineered that one. So we had a shirt. We had an idea that we wanted to go with it. It was actually the first final few with the patch on the shoulder. Like, we had the design cooked up and everything. I think we started with the patch, and we knew we wanted to do something in the middle. So like a slogan ended up making the most sense right there. And then I think some inspiration here or another came from the clock font.
It was from a clock font for
Yeah.
sure.
And then
We were just thinking.
Yeah, we were
it
like,
had
what
something
makes
to do with
sense?
Travis.
yeah,
Travis, like the Reese's Puff, something came
Yeah.
up. And we were just like, I'm being dead ass, bro. That's exactly what happened. And then we were just like, don't be late. And that's where we kind of started it. But what it means is, like, if you have kind of a dream that you want to chase or something you want to do, like, don't be afraid to do it. Do it now. Don't be late to it. Like,
Yeah.
try to get it out of the way, because who knows, if that's what you really wanted to do and you start it now, you don't have to do anything else. Like, you can actually do that. So
Yeah.
don't be late to it.
yeah. And it was one of those things that once, like, we were trying to figure out what the phrase was going to be. And once that came out, we both looked at each other and we were like,
Yeah.
fucking with it.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's the shirt I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have it too.
I find myself saying this a lot, but that's probably the best shirt.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You say
There's I switched my mind with like what the pieces are, but that's up there.
What
I
makes
think
you say that shirt?
just you agree with that?
I have a reason. I want to hear your reason why you say that.
I think at the time it just meant so much. Like, we were rebranding, we put a lot of effort into it. We hit up a supplier from freaking like Indonesia or some country that I'm not even here. It has the patch on the side. I think the colors were picked out like excellently. It has our slogan on there, our name. It was oversized, so it fit perfectly. Like, I think just the culmination, I think we did that shirt really well.
Yeah, I like that shirt too, because it's the only shirt that we have that is our own shape. Like, all the other shirts that we've had, we print on other shirts. But that first shirt that we have, it has its own shape, it has the Chanel patch, and it has embroidered neck tag. So that's a good shirt.
That pisses me off that I don't have that black one. Now that you said that, because I never even thought like
The
that.
black and green.
And
Yeah,
I
my-
don't have it.
Yeah. My black one is with a friend right now. Drake has it.
Really?
Yeah. Because I was like, where did it go? And I was like, and he like wore it one day. I was like, what the? I was like, no, I've been looking for that.
Bonilla.
Yeah. I left it over there one day.
Hey, that's an NFT right there.
Yeah. I'm about to go get that back.
Yeah, I remember for that one we set aside quantities, and
Yeah.
then someone hit me up like, "Hey, y'all sold out of that?" I was like, what size you need? And he was like, a large. And I was like, you got mine, bro. I'm gonna let you get mine.
You're a real one for that.
And yeah,
You wouldn't make yourself one?
I shouldn't have done that. I need that back.
You wouldn't make yourself one though? Because I feel like
It wasn't that simple though. Like I could make myself one, but it's just not
Gonna be the
that
same.
one.
Yeah.
Like it's not from. It probably won't be from the same place. It won't like fit the same. It won't have the same quality of the patch.
A
Like
replica in a sense.
yeah, it would be a replica, and that's. I feel like we can make other ideas that are dope too, but I got the blue one, so that's cool. But
so, something I've always thought about with him, because we made like the opinionated like founders hoodies.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you've made like you have this hoodie, but like in the color only you have, right? So, what makes you, or I guess like, yeah, you want to have something different from yourself or from like who you're selling to, but like, what do you think is the importance of that? 'Cause especially if you're not going to release it. I was just curious because I've always thought about it. I'm like, we could make something different that's just for us, but like, what's the point? Almost.
his answer is gonna be so beautiful. I already know. I think there's a couple reasons. I think one is it's a good way to get creativity, like maximize your creativity. Another thing is there's just something special about having something that you're not putting out for everyone. Because if you put out, I don't know, 20 shirts, 20 people get the shirts, that's 20 people in the same thing. Like, yes, y'all have that shirt. I mean, relatively hard to get, I guess. But in terms of having something that, like that social currency or whatever, like, I don't know, like, even in y'all's hoodie or like in a person, like a Percy, or that's what we call them, the personal shirts or whatever, Percy's. Being in a Percy is just like, nobody can tell me shit. I got one of this. Like nobody else is making it. This is mine. Like there's just like a different sense of pride when and it's cool because a thought in your mind created one of one that nobody else can get. You know what I'm saying? Like you get to see your idea come to life and you get to keep it all to yourself. Like I just think that's so dope. And I probably don't even push for enough personal items that nobody else can have. Like I stick to the release and that's kind of it. But sometimes he'll be like, hey, I need a Percy in this colorway. And I'm like, you know what, you damn right. I'm gonna need one in this colorway. And so we gotta do it like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think doing the individual pieces, it just adds to the individuality to each person that has it. So like you do have some one-of-one pieces. Like I think you have like a mint crew neck, right?
Yeah. And the black version of this.
So those are something that nobody else has. And if somebody came up to you and is like, hey, I really like that sweater, where can I get it? Man, it was only a one-time release. You know what I mean? So that's always cool to me to know, like, I have something that nobody else has, nobody else can get now. But I wouldn't say that we wouldn't ever release it. I think we are looking into figuring out a way to release some of these individual pieces soon. So, right, we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that, and that made me think about how, like, some of our best-selling stuff were meant to be Percy's. And then we put it up or whatever, like, just showed people it, and then that was the one that people were like, nah, we need that one. And it's like, at that point, as a business owner, you're like, okay, do we just keep this one to ourselves or keep this one, as a sample, or do we make a release out of this and then, like, adjust the quantity for this one? So that's also like an interesting peek behind the curtain of some of our stuff wasn't even supposed to be like a big release, but it ended up turning out that way.
Yeah. For me, I don't know. It's just kind of like it's special. Only us have it. Nobody else can buy it. Nobody else can get it. So it just means more to me than just because at that point it's just your family has it, and family means everything to me. So it just means more to me just for us to have whatever it is, and rather than like everybody have it and us have it. Yeah. And then I don't know. I always feel like it also gets people wanting it more. So whatever you do release next, they're gonna get it.
For sure. Now that founders hoodie, that's what y'all call it.
Yeah.
That was tough.
Thank you.
I wear that like.
It's comfortable as hell.
I wear that more than I should. I'm gonna tell y'all that.
That's good. And then the thing is, like,
I wear mine a lot.
We went through like 4 different hoodies, like samples before. Like we made sure we did it right, kind of thing. But Damn, I was about to ask y'all something.
Well, one question I was gonna ask y'all, as we talked about earlier, but how did y'all? Where did the jester come from? Like, how did that come about?
Jesters. There you go. Yes, sir. Shit. I might have to rack my brain. Do you remember?
Started with the Renaissance.
Started.
Yeah, during the Renaissance period.
Yeah.
That was when the jesters were important, like truth tellers, and we wanted something. Since the Renaissance was our first job, we kind of got something from the first job that we could use on, and it was jesters. And how we kind of explained it through the first drop was the jesters were the truth tellers of the time. So that's what we try to do now, is be the truth tellers and spread the light, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was interesting. It was kind of like a learning thing because like all of our stuff has meaning. So when we did the jester for the Renaissance, like you learn that like everybody knows like the court jester. But then if you like look it up, I think the definition was literally like the original truth tellers. Like they were known for being quick-witted and the best were legendary. And so all of that shit, we were like, yo, this is a good mascot to represent the brand. So I think that worked out perfectly. This dude was supposed to be regime jester. It's funny how things don't work out.
Because I was literally about to say that I feel like jester's always been like a kind of a thing. Because I feel like even before Final Few or More Income, you always use that name for him.
Yeah,
like you've always used that name
I called
for
him
him.
a jester.
Yeah.
Hey, he's still a jester though. I can. That's how I view like how y'all have the founders hoodies. Those are like family. Like somebody that I could call a jester, that's family to me. I mean, Damon be here playing UFC fights, bro.
In overtime with Rice?
That's what I was doing when I had to call you for the Israel Adesanya fight.
You was airplaying?
I was airplaying it, and then that I think he said that Dana White probably knows about that stream. So when it gets to main event time,
I forgot
What
about
stream?
I think it's called Stream East.
I forgot.
No, not Stream East.
He knows about all of them.
Yeah, I forget what it's
They can
called.
only do so much.
Shoot, I know nothing was even buffering, and then they started talking about Israel Adesanya. I couldn't even look at the promo.
So it kind of depends how many people. It depends on how big the server is for whatever you're streaming it, and then how many people are trying to tune in at that same time. So if a lot of people are trying to tune at the same time, then it's gonna crash. It's like Call of Duty. I mean, when the game first comes out, everybody trying to log in, everybody play.
Like when you're trying to get some sneakers.
Exactly.
Bro, I almost cried, bro. The 20.
You just got to know him, apparently.
Yeah, facts. No lie. Bro, 2011, when the Concords came out, I didn't know shit about sneakers, bro. I didn't know the pain. I didn't know nothing. I just knew I wanted them. So my dad was like, yeah, you can get them for Christmas. Bet. I'm on Nike. Go on Nike.
Man, on there.
Bro, my computer just started spazzing. I was like, what is wrong? Sold out.
You didn't get it for Christmas.
No, I didn't.
What'd you get for Christmas?
Fucking coal in my stocking. I don't know. It didn't matter at that point, bro. Nah, my dad got some for resale after that.
Damn.
And that's when I learned resellers are scumbags.
Damn. But one question I wanted to ask: do y'all draw? Yeah. I was gonna keep the UFC stuff in.
Okay, cool.
Dana ain't gonna see it.
Yeah.
I got a
But
bone to pick.
huh? Oh, you got a bone to pick with him? I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do. But the judges are the fight.
Everybody.
Well, the judges aren't.
They're not part of the UFC.
yeah.
No, I got a big bone to pick with them, but I got a bone to
The
pick with
judges. I think a lot of people have a big bone to pick with judges.
Yeah.
Anyways, do y'all draw inspiration from anything? Like if you're on an art block or just trying to come up with ideas in general, like when we play the game, listen to Future and whatnot, so we like hear Future music, or I listen to whatever. You watch Demon Slayer, you watch anything Texas, I don't know what else you watch, but do you ever draw like stuff from that to like help you?
Honestly, a lot of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
When I was talking about the race car stuff earlier, I honestly got that from watching like Ricky Bobby, bro.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, we could do some dope.
Shake and bake, baby.
And I was like, yo, we could do some dope stuff with it. So it's just being like kind of in the moment and knowing like, hey, this is a dope movie. I like the kind of ambiance. I see that, just for instance, that movie. They have a bunch of cool race car gear. Hey, maybe I could do a race car shirt. Cool, there's your inspiration right there. Now you're gonna go look and see, okay, how can I produce a race car shirt? What's gonna make my race car shirt different from a race car shirt? So I kind of get inspiration from really anywhere, as long as I kind of have a direction of where I want to take it, and then go from there. Once you kind of have an idea.
Yeah, I think you can't shut off any like source of inspiration. You kind of got to draw beauty from everything because there's art in everything, and that's one thing that I do appreciate about him is that I can get my blinders on, just like sole focused on like whatever I have going on at the time, that I'll miss like everything around me, and like his eye for some of the things that he could pull inspiration from, or even things that he thinks are like dope, are some things that would never even register in my brain. Like my brain does not see that. So it's cool to have like a partner that has a completely different eye than you. Because then it turns out that you can make good art together and build something that's worthwhile.
So,
so a few more questions from me, but one of them is, like putting stuff in boxes. So I've gotten merch where I've gotten matches in boxes and like handwritten letters and like golf tee, like might not resemble the drop, might resemble the drop. Y'all, for example, when I got those hats, put the little gesture like World Series trading cards
Justice.
in there, stickers. Y'all have like the comic. Forgot about that drop. Damn, the sweatsuits.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But have like stuff like that.
Yeah.
How important do you think that is, like long-term resonation with your customers?
Well, I think as you grow, like that, I feel like that is so important because it's something that people don't really get to see. Even for the most part, like someone that buys your merch or buys your clothing, sometimes they don't even share that information. Like that's almost like a personal gift straight to someone for messing with your brand or purchasing. And you got to think too that it's a first impression. So the first thing they see is the packaging, and then once they open it up, whatever's inside, like all they're focused on is the clothing. But then when you receive like when you see the package in the mail saying that it's shipped or it's delivered, you're like, bet, like my sweatpants are here. Mm-hmm. You're not thinking about the other stuff that like a brand owner has made sure to include so that you receive the package like well wrapped up. Like during Christmas time, you don't get just the box that has something in it. Like at least it has like a nice little bow and wrapping paper, and like usually it has a to and from thing that means a little bit something. So I think it's that type of thing that, especially once you get mass appeal, is something that like really builds that loyalty and trust with your audience.
For sure. I think putting stuff like the stickers and the comics, it just makes it memorable for first-time customers or returning customers, anybody, because I don't know many brands that are putting trading cards in with the baseball hat, and each trading card has like a different meaning of what the logos on the hat mean, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that's also a way to kind of increase our brand awareness by putting stuff like the trading card, where the trading card explained what Final Few was, what the logos meant, how I just said. Not a lot of brands do that, and that's something that you might miss if you just buy the hat because, I like the hat. Yeah. Whereas every single hat that we shipped out came with the card. So it's just to make it memorable, to kind of really connect the whole message of the collection.
It's also dope too because they're also not expecting it. So when they do open it, it's like, oh man, I got this too.
Right. Yeah. And I think especially with like the hats, as a brand owner, you're always thinking, how can I increase the experience for like a customer? So if you're just shipping off a hat, then you're just shipping off a hat. You're doing exactly that. Versus, I know we're sitting there thinking, how can we give them more than we're giving them right now? Like if I just ship off this hat, cool. I shipped off a hat. A lot of those were one of one. So you're getting like a one of one hat, which is dope in and of itself. But how can we give you more? Okay, let's do a trading card. Well, why is that important? Oh, because it's a baseball hat. So it all comes full circle, and we feel like we're actually delivering like as much as we possibly can just in that small little release,
That's dope.
And then last thing for me, you guys mentioned Key earlier, kind of like, helped y'all start this and do things with y'all. But y'all also have the Final Few YouTube channel, and you have done some content on us previously. You've done, football, quick little videos. Y'all talked about Drake and his hot sauce.
Drake.
Yeah,
he was wilding for that one.
y'all done a lot of
Hey, fake news.
Yeah, y'all done a lot of stuff on there, and then recently y'all kind of been dropping, I think, like 4 or 5 videos in terms the UFC. Can't be thinking
Got
about
them Cali boys on your mind, huh?
UFC.
You missing Lincoln
Reminiscing.
already?
Reminiscing.
Yeah. He's that Wolverine meme with the picture of Lincoln.
we got some commits today. We're good, but just UFC like videos and things like that, and making content. And then y'all are still making it happen, like how you and Meeks are with the fashion. You and Key are still making it happen, like through Zoom and stuff. So, what is kind of the purpose, you think, to like making the channel, and like what do you want to do with that to tie it in with your clothing?
That's a great question. Well, I've always, and I guess backstory, which I think it would be good to cover here, like, oh man, we got some stuff we ain't even touch on, bro. Bro, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna get to your question. I'm gonna try to remember it. I have a bad memory, but I think it's important to note this, especially because this is our first time like sitting down talking about it. Even before we got to the clothing stuff, Meeks and I were trying to figure out how can we like start a business and make money. So first we bought a bot, like a bot to cop sneakers and resell. That was really the first endeavor, and he's doing that because if that had gone the way we had hoped it would have gone, I don't know if we would have ever even gotten into the brand part of it.
Sorry to cut you off, but why is it hard? Like, why is it? Do you have to have multiple bots basically?
It's at like 6, right?
Bro,
Nah, you just have to have the right one.
yeah.
And the one that we got wasn't the right one. There's bots that are like 10K, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wasn't rocking with that.
You get like the $400 or $500 one.
600.
600.
I
Yeah.
think.
I think it was so Slate or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And the ones that are that expensive, they're like a guaranteed hit.
Oh, like 40 pairs.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, bro, they be eating on there.
Dude, y'all trying to go in?
Low
I
key.
mean, hey.
Yeah.
That's not that much when you break it down
No,
like that.
well, you can make your money back so fast.
Well, the crazy thing is, though, you got to have money in order to buy.
Yeah,
the
you still got to buy the
sneakers.
shoes.
You got to buy them.
Hey, you get a retail though, you know what I mean?
Hey, yeah, how many pairs
40
you want,
times
bro?
200.
Yeah. Bro, yeah, it gets ridiculous real quick. And that's something that I don't think we even accounted for then either.
That's
But
true, yeah.
That was really that was the first endeavor, bro. I will never forget. But I had to go to Foot Locker because we were still working there. Bro, we were trying to shit. We were trying to shit on Foot Locker. We were trying to put them out of business, bro. I swear.
Oh,
But, yeah, bro. We was finna get a sneaker store and everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anyways. But I remember I had to go to work. I was on his laptop because I think his laptop had the bot. So I'm on there solving CAPTCHAs to my, like, eyes are bleeding. Because that's part of it. You have to solve the CAPTCHAs, and that's all you're doing while the bot's trying to cook. So it's just a lot of shit. And we were trying to get the yellow Yeezys. This is when they were the zebra colorway, but
The
they were
frozen
yellow.
tundras?
Yeah, frozen, the piss looking ones. They're
Yeah.
ugly.
Yeah.
But those. So we were trying to get those, solving CAPTCHAs till my eyes bleed, bro. Nothing in the cart. Cool. I have to give him his laptop back. I don't know if I met him at work or gave it to him before work or whatever. I go to work, I get off, and I got a text from him, and he said, I don't remember exactly what it said.
26 of them things.
What'd you say?
I don't remember the text.
Yeah.
I remember we had 26 of them carded and none of them checked out, bro.
Why?
I don't know.
We don't know to this day.
26 were carded and none of them checked out.
Bro, we would have been on our way.
Could you have paid for 26 of them at the
Probably
time?
not
No.
26, though.
No.
Yeah, but you gotta leverage
Bro,
your
let
credit.
it
Leverage.
Overdraft. We were getting that bag. Bro, I think they were going for like 700 or something.
That when they
crazy,
first
bro.
came out,
Yeah, they were going
right now
crazy,
they're about
yeah.
4.
Yeah,
I
they
think.
went down. Bro, I don't know what people were doing, but bro, if that would have happened, bro, I would be in a Benz right now. Crazy. I'm talking about self-driving cars.
Do you
all
still
types
have
of
that
stuff.
bot?
Somewhere, probably.
Technically, or is it what?
No,
it was on
they
your,
stole my laptop. Yeah.
that's another thing.
Isn't?
You
But
gotta-
it's not like I guess they could have changed all this stuff.
So
but
with the bot, you have to have a server, and the server was on
got
the
you,
laptop.
got you.
And yeah, they got all that shit.
yeah,
Can't log in.
Damn.
yeah, that was another tough
Could you
part too.
theoretically put it on a ledger or no?
What was a ledger? I don't know what a ledger is.
That's like it's like a USB stick where they hold like it's like a crypto wallet basically. Well, it holds like secure information,
Probably
basically.
good. Probably good.
Yeah.
But a lot of people use it for like crypto wallets.
Yeah.
So like they'll plug it in and it's like they'll pull up all their money from whatever it is.
Can
but
you
it's
run
just,
something off of a ledger? Like, can you run an application off of it?
I don't know.
Because the bot's an app.
I would assume so, unless I don't know.
You could probably put a bot on it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Best Buy. He's the tech guy.
No, I just
Carl
know these
That's fine.
things.
But yeah, so to answer your question, I just felt like that was important. We had to,
No,
we had to
definitely
touch on
that because that was
was-
interesting because we've always talked about like getting a bot. Yeah,
Hey, please
yeah. I might as well just do it the right way. When you
do it the
get
right way.
Is there a right one that is not $10,000?
No.
Sheesh.
Maybe like 5K.
Yeah, he
5K
definitely
sounds,
knows.
Yeah, 5K sounds more reasonable. Though.
That's definitely
I would
sounds more
just-
reasonable.
I would just
give me
max
a
out
pair.
I would max out the credit card.
You can pay
I'm
5K
gonna-
for one pair. I'm gonna just pay resale.
Oh wait, 5K for one pair.
No, I'm saying like
5K to get one pair? Hell no.
Oh.
no, I'm saying like for me to get
No.
one pair of like every single shoe,
Uh,
not one shoe, obviously.
Hell no. I'll just pay resale. 5K, bro. Do
You're
you know how
gonna
many
you're gonna
pairs
pay
of
more in
resale?
resale than
But
It-
5K in resale, that's like
That's a lot of kicks.
Yeah, bro.
Depending on what you get though, but still a lot of kicks.
that's a lot of kicks. Well, I mean, that's
It depends,
that's,
though, 'cause
That's four
certain-
pairs
some
of
shit-
Travis's somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, that was part of the progression. So I mean, that ties into your question because we were just and still are just trying whatever might work to be able to like build it all together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's important doing the content because I've always told him that's how I got there because I've always told him that I wanted a show. Like I was heavily inspired by DJ Samiro at the
yeah.
time. So like literally I remember 2017, I started watching a lot of YouTube and I was just like, bro, I want a show. So at one point, and this might have been before the clothing, I'm not too sure, but at one point, we started recording and we have the files. We never really put them anywhere. but-
cannon.
the cannon. Yeah, we have the files. He ended up making an investment into a camera just for us to do this stuff. And that was always like a big part of what I've always wanted to do is just be able to produce content. And I think a lot of the bigger companies at that time started understanding that content was king, but I feel like for the normal person, we didn't really understand that. I mean, imagine if y'all would have started back in 2017.
Bro.
Like where y'all would be now, especially with TikTok and the way everything has changed, especially with COVID. Like whoever could have put their roots in.
Yeah.
I mean, even people that started during COVID.
Drewski
Yeah.
is one of them. Drewski is one
Exactly,
of them.
because attention was just captivated online. But that's always something that I've wanted to do. So I don't ever think like I'll shy away from that. But I think now it's very important too, just as trying to build the brand, trying to build the reach, being able to sell the merch, because we've always seen it as that, like it's merch, but we treat it like it's a clothing brand. Like we put our all into it. It's not just something we try to slap our logo on and sell. So it helps with the reach, but also I think Key is just like an insanely talented person when
Always
it comes
been.
to
Always has been.
his
Yeah.
perspective and his charisma and just his intelligence and being able to like draw inspiration and keep everything like compact
Yeah.
and articulate it all.
Fool's a
like,
robot.
It's really incredible what he can do. So
Yeah.
part of my mission now is just to build up a platform and stay on that consistent line.
Yeah.
Because consistency isn't one of my strong suits. But I think if I can become that person, it'll help me as a person
Yeah.
and it'll help our brand and it'll help him take it to where I think it can go. Because I think he's like literally as talented as any person that's been in front of a camera.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to do the UFC stuff. Like I'm getting into the sport, but he really loves the sport. And I think it's a great blend because it helps me learn and it showcases that this guy is like really talented and knows his shit.
I was gonna ask you what got you into UFC.
Conor McGregor.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
he
And
got
Carlos.
he got me casually.
You can get me into UFC.
I said, and
Oh, I
like
thought you said-
you
no.
got me into it.
It was actually a culmination. So Connor's like what got my eyes on the sport, and then watching more Joe Rogan, he naturally talked about it. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then just as I gave it a try, I liked it. Like it's a dope sport, and it's better than boxing, even though it's getting very boxing-esque with.
In what way?
Oh, we could go a whole hour on this. But in short, I think that little gambling scandal.
But that's only one person, though.
That's what they're saying.
I think
But-
it actually is only one person.
Yeah, but they had weird instances with the fighters and people calling exactly what happened, and that one person moving lines for betting,
For sure.
which is, to me, that's just one person, but the reach looks like it's way more than one person.
Yeah.
And then the way the judging is, I'm not rocking with that.
The judging is something I've never liked it. It should not be like a scored like boxing. I think they need to have their own scoring system, because you just like 10-9 rounds should not be a thing. In UFC, if someone just literally dominates a round like that, Darren Till and Drake Duplessis, the first round is not a 10-9 or 10-8 round. It's like a 10-7. He got dominated.
Yeah, he did.
So
He
like,
came back a little bit in the first round.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
with like
yeah,
a
he
minute
did.
left.
Yeah, he did get
A minute is a long
a minute
time.
in UFC time.
Boy, that's a lifetime.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, they need to have more
Yeah.
like 10-7s, 10-8s, more than like 10-9s, because it just doesn't make sense.
For sure.
But
And they need like set criteria on what that actually looks like. Like what can get you a 10-7 and what can get you a 10-8, because a lot of those rounds, especially this last event, should have been 10-8s. And like how in the Ankalev fight, when Yuri was, or not Yuri, Jan was just on the ground the whole time, that is domination. That's 10-8.
Yeah.
so now
damage.
they're going away from like control time on the ground. Like
They
you
want
actually have to
damage.
do stuff on the ground for you to score points, rather than just sit on top of somebody and you're not really scoring points there, because you're just not really doing anything. So I know they're trying to do that now.
But that's wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it's UFC and MMA, but like,
Well,
that
MMA is
yeah.
it's mixed martial arts.
Yeah,
and you
so if I can wrestle you and hold you down, that's my mixed martial art.
for sure.
But I see why they would want damage to happen.
Yeah,
But-
it's. I think it's more for the audience than anything.
Yeah. If it's more for the audience, then give a winner to the damn title fight. That had me so mad, bro.
Did you watch the post fight?
No.
We're going on a rant here, but
watching nothing. I'm not watching.
Dana
nothing
White
yet.
said the final fight, whatever the main
He said
main
it was-
event.
it's
He
not a
said
good
he
fight.
he said that it sucked.
It was a good fight. To me, it was better than the Patty fight. That's for sure. The main event was a good fight, because it looked like.
I think of what it should have been versus what it was is two different things.
Oh, for sure.
And that's why he said it sucked. And especially like having to replace it with the Yuri and Glover fight after what the Yuri and Glover fight was the first
sure.
time. I think that's why he said, because the expectations were supposed to be up there.
Yeah.
And that fight, it was a good fight. It just wasn't exciting like that. Like there was nothing like. He was just throwing leg kicks second and third round, leg kicks second and third round. He got hurt.
Yeah,
nobody really got knocked down. The first round, nobody really like. There was just no true excitement in it. But like as a lover of the sport, as an avid watcher of the sport, it was still a good fight because of like everything that went on in the fight. But so many new people are coming to UFC where they want to see the finishes, they want to see the submissions, they want to see the knockouts, stuff like that. So they're people like, oh, it's not a good fight because that didn't happen. And they're getting blessed because the prelims and a few fights before that.
Yeah, they were great fights.
Yeah, finishes,
And they're all
knockouts.
finishes, yeah. Well, the thing about that fight too is he almost got TKO'd off leg kicks.
Yeah.
Like he could barely stand up, and then he came back to what it looked like to me win the fight. He at least showed championship heart.
Yeah.
So to not crown a winner after, like, what did he just battle for? And then they give the title fight immediately. You know, he doesn't book matches on Saturday except this past Saturday.
But I think, like I told you, I think it's because they both didn't fight.
Nah, fuck that.
They both didn't fight. And it's just hard to have a non-champion for that long of a layoff.
Yeah, that's why they should have given somebody the damn belt that night. A tie, bro?
That's not Dana's fault though.
Yeah, it's not.
Like he literally cannot prevent that.
Yeah, it's not.
But like,
I don't know.
I think that's why they did it, because you can't turn around and have Jan or Magomed literally fight in January.
For sure.
And Glover was already going to fight in January, so it makes sense that be another. And Anthony Smith lost his last fight, and Homeboy won his last fight.
Yeah, so
So I mean, it just makes sense because there's no technically champion, so it's literally 1, 2,
And
3,
that's
4,
the
5,
problem.
6, 7.
That's the boxing to me. That's the problem.
But you can't like fault what happened though.
No.
Like he fucked up his shoulder. You can't. I mean, it happens.
No,
So-
I'm not talking about none of that. I'm talking
What?
about the tie. The tie is the problem. Him stripping the belt and all
But
that.
you can't.
That's
You can't.
cool.
But you can't take the tie and put that with the UFC.
I have to.
You sure you have to.
Because
but
when I went,
But
to
the
go
judges
watch,
have nothing to do with it,
fuck
though.
that. When I went to go watch the fight, I wasn't watching nothing else but the UFC 282.
for sure.
So they have to. The UFC has to figure out something with those judges, like whether it's a better screening process.
The thing
or
is, you have to
better
go to
criteria.
every single state and figure out something with the
Go
judges.
ahead,
That's
you
the
got-
problem.
You got a lot of money and you travel a lot. You can do it.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
probably
do it.
easier said than done, for sure.
For sure. I don't care if it's hard. It was hard watching that shit and a tie coming out of it.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
went to bed just,
I told you it
disgruntled.
ruined the whole card for me. Both of
Bro.
those fights.
yeah, should have.
Both of those fights ruined the whole card for me. It was a great card until
Yeah.
those happened.
Both judging issues.
Yeah.
That's
It's
terrible,
horrible.
bro.
It was horrible. I don't know.
I'm getting riled up thinking about it. What are we on?
That's the last
that-
question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We started talking about UFC, and I asked you what got you into UFC, and it was a mixture of that.
Yeah.
So after, I guess, getting into the UFC and all that, would you ever consider, like, not necessarily going to a fight, but, like, training that type of stuff, whether if it's Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, Krav Maga, any of it?
Yeah, so I think about this quite often, actually. Probably every time that I consume MMA media, I think, like, okay, what would that look like? For sure, I would do jiu-jitsu. Like, that's a for sure.
Straight or Brazilian? Like regular jiu-jitsu or Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
No gi. Either way.
No
like,
gi?
I'm cool with either one as
No
long
gi.
as it's no gi.
No gi.
Yeah, I don't. Why
No
are we
gi.
bringing... Bro, I saw... The first time I ever, like, just Googled a jiu-jitsu fight, they had a gi, and I was like,
It's
just
just
wearing a robe?
it just
For what?
it's
Nah, people
history.
getting choked out from the little...
Yeah,
Nah, I'm
I
not
mean it's just part of the game, but I mean that's just how it was. That's how it started. I mean, it just
Nah, that's not true
part of the
art
culture.
form to me. Well, that's true art. but
that
that's
for
not
sure
like-
is true. If you could get
but,
if you
yeah.
could choke somebody out with their
Yeah.
own gi,
But
hey,
that's like when the fighting should just be like
Yeah.
we shouldn't add all the extra stuff unless it's for protection. But I would definitely do jiu-jitsu. I would spar a lot of other stuff, but I don't know if because I know like in Muay Thai and some other forms they do like light sparring. So if somebody's not trying to knock you out, I'd be cool with that. But as soon as someone really trying to put bruises on me, I'm cool.
nah. I don't know if it ever happened, but Albert and I have always talked about rolling, but no, obviously it's expensive.
Go to
But
Mexico, it's cheap.
we might have some stuff in the works.
Okay.
We've always wanted to do like because we used to do it a while ago, like 6 years ago. But we want to get back into it. He's done it more than me.
Yeah,
But-
he put this dude like early in the morning before football practice, like slammed. Like it took Albert a few attempts to get into his locker, and then as soon as he opened it up, the dude slammed it, and he put him to sleep.
Damn.
Yeah.
When was this?
That,
Freshman
What
bro,
was
year?
that? What the fuck?
that was
I remember
it was sophomore year.
Yeah.
It was sophomore
Yeah.
year. Yeah, so
No.
I don't know if he knew stuff then, but he knew
It
enough.
couldn't have been sophomore year. You didn't play football sophomore year.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't there.
Oh,
Oh,
when was that?
I know exactly.
Wait, that was in the afternoon then, because I remember
That's when we
because
all used to go to the.
literally me, him, Albert, I think Devin too. We're all in the same bay.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
We
All
were
like in that corner.
Yeah, we're just all in the same bay. But no, I at least want to fight once.
You want to fight like
Yeah.
a beat?
Yeah.
I met someone that said he was like doing the amateur UFC thing and like a trained kickboxer. Like I think he tried to I don't know, turn and kind of, and the dude kicked him right in the kidney.
No, yeah,
And
it's
he
not
was
fun.
pissing blood for like 3 weeks. And
Yeah.
he said he just woke up in a hospital, like he couldn't walk or anything. And when he said that, I was like, oh yeah, this is fighting. Like that triggered like, oh, I used to think I could do something like, no.
Nah, I at least
I'm
wanted just one. I don't even care if I get knocked out. At least I went in there and just did it. You know, I just once.
Well, humans are supposed to be able to fight. So
True.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Plans 2023. You got any?
Build the brand, put out some good merch, stay consistent, have some more consistency for sure.
What does that consistency look like for y'all?
More posts, the merchandise, the quality, you'll be able to tell. That's really it. Consistency being the post and the quality of the merch for sure.
Yeah, it's very possible that the brand takes a different direction. Of course, still building, still sticking true to everything that we built. But it's definitely possible that we just shift focus. So I think this coming year is going to be a really big year for us. I know it's going to be a big year for y'all, which I'm excited to see.
All of us, we're going to do stuff together.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely ready for some of the IRL stuff.
Yeah.
Got to get that boy back in the cages, you know what I'm saying?
He ain't ready, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever.
I know.
He thinks he is.
Yeah, no, he's
You're not ready for the other challenges.
Yeah, but I think I fare the best, low key. Anyways.
Yeah, dabble.
But yeah, I think. I mean, some of the stuff I've touched on in here, I think we just pour a little more focus into certain areas.
Yeah.
Then it'll go organically and it'll be good.
Yeah, from the concrete. From the concrete. Before we wrap this thing up, y'all have anything for us?
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah. What are y'all's plans for 2023? What would y'all like to see happen?
A lot. I mean, just a few things. Obviously, drop opinionated threads and do our clothing, do purposeful stuff. But, we're creators, so do, creative pieces. That's not really a focus for us. It's just, we know it's important. And then more, like you said, IRL videos, challenge videos, and then just doing more polished productions. Like, we've been doing it for 4 years, going on 4 years, whatever. So polished podcasts, polished productions, doing additional forms of content, music, whatever, but it looking like you watch a video from Opinionated Media and you're like, yeah, that's top tier. Like, that's what I'd see at a channel with like 500,000 or 1 million subs. We want it to be like that next year, just because I feel like that's the direction we need to go in. Like, just no more bullshit, and really, at least from me.
I mean, same thing, what he said. And then getting more gear so we can be like that. I mean, the main thing that we got to get is another camera for sure. We want that third angle still, and then just the better the camera, the better the content's going to look, even outside doing the IRL stuff. And I definitely want to do more IRL stuff this coming up year than what we did last year. And last year it was cool, it was fun, and it was a cool experience, and it was something different for us. But I think after us doing that, it showed us that we can do it with no problem. Right. So we just kind of proved that to ourselves. So I think going into next year, no matter what it is, IRL, it's going to be something that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, being more planned and calculated, like planning stuff out 3-4 months in advance so we know how to get there, and not just being like, oh, let's do this idea and just shooting content to just shoot it. Now we need to be like purposeful what we're doing, and to where it's helping us grow. I
guess on the business side, just being more business structured and oriented. From all four of us, me, Albert, Cam, and CJ, the meetings, the merch, the videos, just start taking the correct steps to be able to grow it and be better than we were even last month.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple questions for y'all before we wrap up too. One of the things I've noticed is that this year y'all really made a push to be consistent.
Yeah.
And like flood the algorithms everywhere. Adding additional shows, adding additional segments, creative ideas, opinionated threads is popping up, PCT.
Mm-hmm.
How have y'all been able to stay on track and stay motivated? Because I know being on the creative side, having made content myself, like that can be a lot, especially once you've done it for 2-3 weeks, a couple months. Like at some point you get tired of doing it because it really does feel like a job. Yeah. And sometimes you don't always have the results right there in front of you. So how do y'all stay on the path and keep pushing forward?
I think for me, for you, I don't know if it's just you or if it's y'all two, but either way, it's either you or it's just y'all two. For us, we have a whole team that we can draw ideas from to stay creative, just to do different stuff. They could say one thing and they can be like, oh, well, I can do that with that one thing. Or you can just say a name and it just stick. And then Albert's not going to stop. CJ's not gonna stop. Why should we stop? You know, so it's like if we stop, they're just gonna keep going. So that's just kind of the motivating factor behind it. Is just everybody just kind of pushes each other, and then everybody's also in their way doing their own thing, and that's also what's keeping the drive going for everybody else.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, I'd say like how we had those meetings earlier in the year and like the synergy of everybody, you know, being here. And lately, I mean, they shoot on Tuesdays or shoot on Wednesdays, so there's always people over here doing the same type of stuff. CJ moving in helped a lot just because he's doing stuff. So like he said, why would we not do anything? Albert kind of gave us that push into doing it fully.
I would say like Albert's probably the biggest reason, because if it wasn't for him to like basically saying I'm not editing anything anymore, I don't think we would be anywhere close to where we're at. And that also forced us to like edit and then come up with videos, because if we just edited that, then it was just like that was it. So I think Albert doing that.
How appreciative are y'all for, because I mean, everything kind of happens for a reason. How appreciative are y'all for that? Because it's one thing to be the on-camera talent, but especially when you're bootstrapping and you're starting up, like having those skills that you can then go take somewhere else and use it productively, whether that's helping out someone else or teaching someone else.
Yeah.
Like, how appreciative are y'all for that? Because I'm sure at the moment that wasn't easy to take in.
Go ahead.
Well, honestly, just before like, still like talking about the last question, like I don't know, I'm just competitive as shit. Like you've always known that my whole life, and just seeing other people do stuff, like I'm not gonna let them pass me or like pass us or whatever. I'm gonna like push to beat them out or whatever. So just doing the content. So just doing the content, being productive, grinding, and like there's making no excuses. I mean, we've spent so much money on all of it. It was just like, bro, we just got to do something. Like I'm not gonna make excuses. We've been talking about us not growing forever, and we're not also doing what we need to be doing. Like I can at least say this year, like I did the whole year without making an excuse. Like regardless, I just got the shit done because that's just what you got to do. Not for real. Like this is what you got to do. And then yeah, just Albert was just such a big like push for us because I mean it just forced me and Carlos to learn how to edit, to do different stuff. I mean, helping Steve do Keep It a Buck, and then also helping PCT when they first started. And then helping Kat shoot like Kat's Kitchen and just doing different stuff. I like had to learn how to use a camera. Going to San Diego specifically was like important for me because that's when I really started using a camera, like taking photos, videos, like all that video that we made of the trip was all from us. Me, Carlos, CJ, and Alex recording everything and Albert putting it together without even being there. So the fact that we were able to create that just from us getting the shots and it looking good was impressive for us. And I was like, you know, we can do this. And also just like competing with Albert, I'm like, I'm not going to let him just do like not do it and we don't do it. You know what I mean? So, but it's all good. It's like all good competition because we all just push each other in the right direction. So,
but to answer your question, it was definitely a hard conversation to have at that time because I could only imagine for Albert, it just seemed like us two were attacking him. So it was basically a 2 against 1 thing. But at the end of the day, we all know what we want. We all know where we want to be, and we all know what we want for each other. So, I mean, you just take it with a grain of salt, and you know, like he wants what's best for me. I want what's best for him, and he's not saying this just to say it. He wants us to do it so we can learn for ourselves. And I mean, I really appreciate it. I mean, I don't think him or I would be anywhere we're at. For him camera-wise and editing-wise, and for me editing-wise, if it wasn't for that conversation.
yeah, I really think like him telling us that really just made us be like, damn, we got to do it. And, you know, it was just one of those things where I think the more we did the content this year, the more he's wanting to help and like help us push and stuff because he's seeing that we can do so much without him. And if now he's like, oh, I get more involved, where can we take this? So I think that was like good for him to see it. And even for him, he was like, y'all are doing all this stuff without me. Like I shouldn't make an excuse either for myself. So it was just cool. Like it was definitely one of those things that were needed because we were kind of stagnant and somebody kind of needed to make a shift. And that's what happened. So this year. Yeah.
The road to success is always windy, and obstacles are really, just things that'll sharpen up your driving skills, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know we've had our fair share of obstacles and kind of a come to Jesus moment in terms of something you said that was very important was about excuses. Like, I think when Final Few came about, that was one thing that we really channeled. Like, fucking excuse. It's not on anybody else. If we win or if we lose, that's on us.
Yeah.
So we are in complete control of what happens. And if anything does pop up, we have to ask ourselves, how do we handle that? How do we make sure it doesn't happen again? How do we get better?
Yeah.
So that was very important. And that's great to hear that you guys weathered the storm and still continue to. I guess my last question too is, what does opinionated mean to you guys?
You go.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sheesh.
Both of y'all.
Yeah, both of y'all.
It means a
answer.
lot. I mean,
Think
it's
about his answer.
Nah. Yeah.
no, it means a lot. I mean, essentially, it's my baby. I mean, I've been not necessarily opinionated, but I've been wanting to do this since high school. And then since like my senior year, I've wanted to do like podcasting, and now just kind of turned more into that than that. But I've wanted to do at least some sort of media since high school. And
Not to cut you off, but what took you so long? And I don't mean that as a dig, but I know everyone goes through that.
For one, I wanted to do a podcast, but I never like really acted on it my senior year or really talked about it.
Understood too what all it takes.
And
also.
then that as well. And then two, I mentioned it to him, and then we both got on board. By that time, he was already gone in college. So at the same time, we knew that we didn't want to put anything out that's half-assed, and we didn't want to be inconsistent. And then we didn't want to have it to be like a video call on college internet isn't the best, and it just be like buffering and grainy or like not coming through clear, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of stuff that like put it on hold, but at the same time, just because like it was on hold not being done doesn't mean it wasn't getting talked about or ideas weren't coming in.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it was probably his junior year maybe is when we finally came up with the name Opinionated.
Yeah, and then we started really planning like my senior year, like figuring stuff out, kind of researching equipment, and then once I came back from school and got a job, like we started saving and starting to get the stuff.
And got into the little theater room.
Yeah, I mean but that's another thing. Like people don't know. Like me, you, and Key. We're in the theater room trying to figure shit out for content. Didn't know what we were doing. Yeah. Even us, like we have a video on the laptop. It's me, you, Dev, Meeks,
That's
Key,
in the documentary.
And SA. So it's always been there. It's just we weren't really all the way dialed in yet, not all the way locked in. It's like, oh, let's do it. Why not? But and to answer your question, what opinionated means to me is this. It's just so much more than that. Like it's just a lot of dedication, time, energy. Nights where I slept 2 hours, a lot.
The Stephen A. Smith of opinionated, ladies and gentlemen.
Nah. I mean, just try, and there's no one who I'm doing it for. Like when I'm tired or I don't want to do something or make an excuse or don't want to shoot that video by myself or whatever. I know it's a long-term goal. Like putting in that work, laying down this foundation when I'm 30 or when I can create other people's dreams come true, like seeing CJ and PCT and like how much they've grown this year from us helping them out, and even Steve, like with his struggles, because Albert said to me and Steve, he's like, how many people's dreams are you not making come true by not chasing yours? Because it's true. There's people that just want to edit, there's people that just want to shoot with the camera, there's people that just want to market, and we could provide that for them. So that's really why, or what it means to me, and like getting to that. So
and then I mean also to finish mine off, big thing for me is, like I said earlier, family. I mean, none of this, I wouldn't say it wouldn't be possible, but a lot of this is driven just by the family that we have, the family that we created, the memories that we've all made, even through our own individual shows. Me and him with 54 yards, PCT, Beautiful Mind of Zay, Albert Show, and then us just being all here at once, just having fun, not even recording, just with each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The family just, when we hear opinionated, we think of Lon, we think of Steve, we think of Zay, we think of Albert, just all those people, because it's not just sure, me, Cam, and CJ and Albert are all in the LLC, and we own it, but it's more than just us four. It's a whole family, and that's one big thing that I guess it just that's what always keeps me going and drives me as well. Because if, like he said, if I don't do this, I'm not just letting me down. I'm not just letting Cam down. I'm letting the whole family down.
Yep.
But
Well put.
hey, thank y'all again taking the time out y'all's day. I don't know if you have to drive back to Dallas or not, or if you're staying here and whatnot. But again, I appreciate you coming down
for
from
real.
Dallas.
That shit means a lot, bro.
This has been a long one in the making. It's been getting pushed back. Have a day, then push it again. But hey, we finally did it. We're finally here, and it was a great one. I appreciate y'all boys, and it means a lot for y'all to come on the show and show y'all's beautiful brand y'all got going on.
Yeah, and I hope we, if anything we can do to help y'all out for his content, helping y'all shoot stuff. I mean, I've already talked to you about even for your business. Just let us know, and then I hope that we were able to, maybe ask y'all some questions that might have provided some, information for y'all to help y'all out, help y'all's business grow. So,
Yeah, thanks for having us. It was fun sharing our story and being able to connect with you guys. And it was really fun, insightful. It's good to learn about you guys. I know a lot, but I mean, even hearing you guys profess it on a public platform is dope.
yeah.
And share that moment with us, and to get to watch y'all and be in this environment is great. Had tons of fun. Can't wait to do it again, because it will happen again.
It will for sure happen again.
Got to be an annual thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thanks for getting this guy with me, man. He's elusive.
hey, I'm glad you got him down here. For real.
Yeah, I'm for real. I'm glad you came.
Yeah.
It was fun. They can find you where? Socials?
Instagram, DMarqueezy. Put it on the video.
Yeah, we're going to put on the video.
With the underscore. Twitter's the same thing. That's my socials.
For you?
King Battle _ bought with Bash, with that, whichever one you're preferring. That's me.
And then we'll put the website down and below, and then on the video as well.
Most importantly, Final Few _
And one last thing. When do y'all think are dropping again? Or you can't say that.
When are we dropping again? What do you want us to drop?
I don't know. Y'all tell us. I don't know.
Depends on what.
Something for the summer.
I'll
just say that.
Oh, okay. Well, we have some time then. I would say we're dropping. It just depends on what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because content loading for sure.
Good.
It might be loading as we speak.
Good.
And then clothing. Just stay tuned. We try to every quarter, if you can add it up. It's coming up soon,
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah. Still waiting on that Final Few 3/4 sleeve.
Oh, like the baseball shirt?
Mm-hmm.
You want a baseball shirt?
Like the 3/4 sleeves, like the baseball.
Oh, he knows.
Family and friends coming soon. We'll do some collabs
For sure. Yeah, I think that's one thing we want to get together too, and do some friends and family type stuff. So. Yeah.
But that'll do it for another episode. Y'all make sure y'all go show them love, their family. We've been rocking them for a minute. Go buy one of their pieces if they're not sold out. But if they are, don't be late next time. But that'll do it for your boys over here at Opinionated. We'll catch y'all guys next time. Peace.